This episode of Joyride is being brought to you by High Bank. High Bank is a proud Columbus-based distillery. Look for High Bank spirits at your local liquor store and favorite bars around the city. By purchasing High Bank spirits, you're supporting and drinking local. Drink local, drink High Bank.
You're listening to Joyride, a podcast for people who love cars. Now sit back and enjoy the ride.
Hey guys, it's Rob and Pete.
We're back.
We're back again. Talking cars, Joyride podcast. Woo!
Woohoo! Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. We did we say this last time? 500 downloads?
No, we didn't.
We didn't say
mention-
that.
Yeah. We've surpassed 500 downloads total for the show,
That's pretty cool.
which is pretty good.
How many
because,
episodes do we have? Like 7, 9?
We just posted episode 11.
11. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go. So I don't know how to quantify this. We're going to celebrate it though.
We are, absolutely. So there's hundreds of thousands of podcasts that exist. We are doing technically above average.
No way.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Based on how many downloads each of our episodes has and whatever. So
Well, that's not our doing. That's your doing.
That's all you guys.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for
Thank you,
listening.
yeah.
And continue to listen and tell people about the show.
Yeah, tell us if you don't like it too. 'Cause
Yeah.
We'll change. We'll do anything.
This podcast is now about ice cream.
We could do that. I don't know if I'd be as passionate.
No, I don't think so.
Lactose intolerant.
Yeah, me too.
So what do we got on the docket this week? I know that we were texting about this one auction site, which, nobody sponsors us except High Bank Distillery.
High Bank Distillery.
But I mean, I don't mind shouting out names here. I think
No.
people are familiar with Bring a Trailer. Pretty much standard on the IG feed. And they have a ton of cool cars. Always cool cars. That's the whole shtick. And occasionally, I mean, they're so frequent at this point. Like now that I see one, I'm like, okay. But there's this one last week.
You get a little numb to the rarity and the excellent condition of everything that shows up.
Because it is Barrett Jackson.
Yeah.
For everyone else.
Right.
It's kind of like a bunch of misfits and enthusiasts got together and said, you know what? We don't need the pomp and circumstance. We all have these cars. We all like these cars. Here's the platform. Let's share them.
Share them and sell them.
Yep. But last week, again, this is going to be the Joyride BMW podcast, but last week there was a 1988 BMW M3. I mean, we've talked about this car a ton.
Mm-hmm.
Quickly recapping, halo car of halo cars. It's a really special piece.
It's a great period piece. It's a great feat of engineering. It's an excellent looking car.
Beautiful car.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it's finished. This one happens to be finished in red. And there's a German name for it that I can't pronounce, so I won't. But we talked, I think maybe last week or the week before, about the range in pricing of M3s and model years. And I think we went into how, you can find one for $5,000 all the way up to $50,000.
Right.
And no sooner did that podcast come out did this go on auction. And what's special about it is that it is literally brand new.
It had under 8,000 miles.
Yeah, it was about 8,000 miles.
Yeah,
brand new from the factory. Has been sitting. Well, I guess the story was the owner bought it new and then passed in the mid-90s. Family kept it, maintained it, didn't drive it much, and then sold it in 2010. And then that guy put it on Bring a Trailer, but. So 8,000 miles, pristine, brand new, looks like it's like right out of the showroom.
I would be curious because I know our audience might not know what the final price that this thing caught, but I would be curious to know what it sold for in 2010.
2010, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
Because back to the conversation last week with, the vast range. These are typically getting between 30 and 60,000.
Yeah.
That's a pretty wide range, but I've seen them go for 35. I've seen some go for 55. They all have, I guess the ones that I've seen, I'm thinking around 75,000 miles all the way up to 140,000 miles, and they're still kind of getting that kind of money.
Right.
So for 8,000 miles, brand new, untouched, right? I mean, maintained all these years.
Yeah.
You know what it went for. So
I do. To be clear, it's mint.
It is mint.
And there's not many mint of these guys out anymore.
No, but
because people like driving them.
Yeah,
a lot of them
they're
have
driver's
been
car.
Yeah,
sure.
And so it's rare to get one with that low mileage, I mean, just pristine.
You know, I'm so torn on it too, because it is, you have to keep it mint to appreciate how wonderfully beautiful it is.
Right.
But also not driving it is kind of sacrilegious.
Right. It hurts your soul a little
bit. It
Yeah.
does. But this definitely set the market.
Yes.
This set the market.
Yeah.
I've not seen this before. You ready?
Hit the audience with it. Here it comes.
$250,000.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
$250,000
for an E30 M3.
Bone stock.
Nothing special.
Nobody owned it.
Yeah.
Nobody famous owned it. And
No.
it wasn't raced in something that won. I mean, it just
factory fresh.
Factory fresh.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought I had to talk about it. I think I think that's a lot of money. I don't know how to adequately, and this is what I think I was telling you, I don't know how to adequately put that into
right.
context. And you quickly came with the challenge to help me, get my mind right and unscramble my brain. So,
right, because you on paper you're looking at spending $250,000 on one car that's 30 years old. I got to thinking, if somebody came to my house and dropped $250,000 on my lap and said, "You have to go spend this on cars. You can't pay down your student loans or pay off the mortgage or whatever. It has to be spent on cars.
Yeah.
And what you don't spend, you lose." What do you get instead of buying an old E30 M3?
Okay. All right.
So that was the challenge I threw down at Pete. Just because I, like you, I could not wrap my head around it. I mean, I understand it when people spend that much money on super exotic supercars. Like that sort of makes sense to me a little more. But on a car, I've seen E30 M3s driving around.
Yeah. There's a really nice example of one actually built very well. It shows up at Cars and Coffee here in Columbus.
And I never think about that on the same echelon level as these other, supercar, because that's supercar money, right? Yeah, so that was the challenge. It has to be active listings, could be new, used, whatever.
So how did you approach this?
So for me, I have two lists.
You can't have two lists.
I know. I have one real list, and I will after I work my way through my one list, I will share my second list, because for me it's a quantity or a quality thing.
Okay.
I got to be honest with you. When I sent that text challenge to you, I thought, I'll have this thing nailed in 5 minutes.
Right. Right.
5 minutes.
I thought the same thing.
Car search.
Yeah.
I know what my go-to favorite cars are, but the thing with the challenge, the 250K challenge is finding the right car for the right price, so that way you can buy this other car for this price. And wait, now I need to shave off 10 grand, so I got to go back and can I find a cheaper one of this one so that I can fit this other one in, and all, and down and down and down.
Yeah.
I spent over the last 2 days probably 4 hours.
Sure, your wife was super happy about that.
I mean, it was just in between other things, instead of whatever. It was fine. Who's doing the list first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
You told me it had to be an active listing.
Yes.
And you told me that there were no other rules, but
Right.
you had to spend it or you lost it.
Yes.
In that scenario, I lost my mind for 20, 25 minutes, because I, like you, thought I had this nailed down. This is no problem. In fact, this isn't even worthy of the podcast, because this is going to be quick. We've talked about all these cars. I know exactly what I'm getting. Turns out, I mean, my brain was overheating. It was terrible. It was terrible. So I had to, in order to save my life, put guardrails on your challenge. And so I immediately nixed the idea of having 50 cars, right? Because at one point I went to like, the $5,000 challenge.
Right. I was wondering if you were going to come in here with between $5,000 and $10,000 cars and say, now I've got a fleet now.
Yeah.
You have to call me Admiral Peter from now on.
Right. Deploy the 30-plus-year-old junkies. So what I ended up doing was thinking about practicality, right? Because you said it had to be an active listing, it kind of gave a sense of like, this is real. If it was real, how would it go?
Right.
And so because it's real, I don't have a garage that could hold more than 4 cars. The idea of having 25 cars, okay, that's gone, right? Paying taxes on buying all these cars. So I factored that in.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Right?
Okay.
and then I even went further and I said, I got to think about transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll explain that last thought in a second. But I'm torn because I love my truck.
Yes.
I love my truck, but I love some really nice cars too.
Right.
I don't know how to do one or the other. They don't. There's no crossover, right? But with this challenge in 250,000, you don't have to.
Right.
So
yeah.
first pick. Oh, the other thing I did was maintenance, right? So
okay.
Factoring in the cost of maintenance on top of all this, even though it's not in the initial 250,000, if I had 20 cars,
right,
I don't know that I could maintain them legitimately.
And that's how I narrowed it down from, I already said, I have 2 lists. One of the list is if maintenance wasn't a thing, here's my choice.
Okay.
And then the other one is,
see, I found the back door to that. Okay. So
what are you buying, a mechanic?
Yeah. I put somebody on salary for 12 months. My list is predominantly new cars.
Okay.
So warranty.
I factored that in as well. Yeah.
First car, 2020 Chevy Silverado, 2500 high country trim line.
Nice. Okay.
So you're talking about a truck that has, the crew cab, full 4 doors, new model. So it's got the new grill. I think it looks cool. Some people hate it.
I'm not crazy about it,
Yeah.
but I don't know that I've seen a high country.
So the high country trim level is the ultimate
It's
package.
the ultimate package. Yeah, I just don't know what that does to the front of the.
It actually gives you a chrome grille, which I'm not a fan of.
Why did they do that?
I don't know.
Why did they do that?
I don't like it.
Chrome grills are super 90s to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Like
especially when they're so big now.
body color or blacked out always looks better.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree. But with the 2500, you get this extra towing capacity.
Right.
Particularly if you get the high country, because I think it's like a 6.2 liter V8, but it's a diesel too. So you get your numbers in towing, I think it's like 18,000.
Yeah.
18,000
It's
pounds,
up there.
18 and a half maybe. So that was the first truck. I was like, that's great. That's what I'm going to get. Okay. So you want to take a guess at the price of that?
For a brand new one?
Yeah.
High country?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's got to be pushing, what, 65?
Oh, you're close. 75,685.
Okay.
All right.
That's a strong opening salvo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I can keep that truck for 10 years.
At least.
Yeah. And
what color?
The one I found was black.
Okay.
I couldn't find a white one. I want a white one. I have to drive a lot. I mean, pre-COVID and hopefully post-COVID, I'll be going back and forth
Fingers crossed.
to the office, right?
Yeah.
And a big ass truck like that, doesn't fit in parking decks, doesn't do really well, gas mileage, no street parking, right? So I thought, well, I got enough money here. I'm going to go with a luxury sedan. So I went through all of them, right? I'm like, oh man, immediately BMW 5 Series.
Sure.
And then I was like 7 Series because I got the money. No, 5 Series. And then went to Audi. I puked all over Mercedes. I just can't do it. I don't know why, but... And then I thought, you know what? Nobody's going to want to listen to that list. They've heard that in the last 12 episodes, right?
Yeah.
Guess what I got? Now, this is slightly used, but still under warranty.
I don't know. What'd you go with?
2019 Genesis G80 5.0 Ultimate.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar with the 5.0?
I know.
It is a hot rod dressed just dripping in luxury.
Yeah.
It's got the big V8, 420 horsepower.
Ooh.
Yeah. All-wheel drive.
Oh, that's a strong pick. So.
Yeah.
It's strong.
Now, I had to concede a little bit because the only one I could find was silver, which...
Yeah, those cars don't look great in silver.
No.
But that's okay.
No cars look great in silver.
No.
But that came in at an even $52,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So now I got my weekend truck for the farm.
Right.
I got my daily,
Right.
which is a smoke show hot rod,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, yeah. Still fun to drive.
Awesome to drive.
Yeah.
Great handling, dripping in luxury, they got air conditioned seats. I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? And it's an understated car too. You pull up to a friend for lunch or a client, like you're not in this gaudy, gross, super high luxury car, but you are.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, third car. I think you're going to guess this one, but I'll just hit you with it. 2007. So, you can 2020, 2019, 2007. Now I'm into the used stuff, but
Yeah.
classic 911 turbo.
Yep.
Now that came in a little pricey.
A little bit more.
A little bit more. For some reason, these things are going up in value.
Well, yeah.
But $97,890.
Okay.
I think I have you on the advantage here because are you in Franklin County?
Yes, technically, yeah.
I'm in Fairfield County.
Okay.
So I have a sales tax of like 6.35%, and you have one closer to 7.5%.
Yeah.
So with the tax factored in,
see, Pete took this to a whole tax level that I didn't even factor.
I know.
I didn't even come up with the taxes.
Before I give you the taxes, though, I mean, if you're doing the math, you see that I'm shy 25K, right?
Right.
Like I'm at 225-ish.
Yeah.
So I went with another 2020 8.5 by 24 foot enclosed cart hauler to trailer my sweet Porsche in my sweet truck
Right.
to whatever track
There you go.
or road trip that we end up going on together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
Surprisingly inexpensive.
Yeah.
Like $7,000 for this trailer.
There you go.
So with taxes on all four of those, you're at another 15,000. I came at 247.
Very good.
247, and I had to give back $3,000.
It's not bad.
No,
Not bad at all.
not bad. You know what is bad though? I about halfway through this project started to feel like this was real life. I started to think like, wow. I mean, like, look at me. I'm getting all these. I'm like, holy crap, Peter. Like, you're an idiot.
I caught myself doing the same thing where it's a process, right? You're picking a car and then you're finding it for this price and then you realize that, oh, I have room for this. And so then when I go back, I'm like, oh, what a great deal. I got this for $76,000 instead of $89,000.
It was because I started to become emotionally invested. I had a spreadsheet out. I was checking different states, like trying to find the best. I mean, it was insane. It was insane. And it bummed me out because I was like, it's just for the
just
pod.
for fun. Yeah.
It's not going to happen, Peter.
Yeah.
And then I was sad because I was like, what tracks would what weekend do I have open?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Let's hear your list.
Okay. So
Dazzle me.
dazzle you. For my list, I was sort of treating this as I'm getting rid of all my other cars
Oh, okay.
thing. So I, like you, I was going a little crazy and I had to frame it in a way. These are my only cars that I'm going to have. First went for sort of family hauler, but just like big sedan, fit the family in. I, just like you, did the same shopping experience. Only I think you ended up with I don't know if it was the better buy, but so I've got a 2015
Okay.
BMW
Ooh.
M5
Yeah.
for $39,500.
Wow.
Yeah, so it had 50,000 miles, 51,000. So
It's a great pick, though. I mean, I think, what was that, like 500 horsepower?
yeah, and it's not. I don't have clients to take around in it like you have to worry about. It's just literally pile the kids in, the family, and run to the store or whatever.
Really fast.
Post COVID, yeah, really fast and safe, but fast.
That's a great pick. I mean, I looked at probably 40 of them.
Yeah. The M5 was the constant one where I was trying to find it in a different price bracket, but still like black like I wanted.
Yeah.
Not all of them came with a super aggressive front grille either, like the front bumper. I don't know if there was, I know like it's called the M Sport on other BMWs. It seemed to me, and it's possible that those listings were not actual M cars that they were advertised as M5s, but
Well,
they're really 5, they're a 5 Series with
it's tricky because you
some
can get
appointments.
The M is like the M badge is a package in and of itself,
Right.
on a lot of the lower trim models. So it's tough because when you start checking car sites, you know what you're looking for. Depending on how people load it in there, it'll pull it up.
The other thing that drives me crazy is all of these have manual transmission as a button you can click.
Yeah.
But how many come up and they're fucking autos?
Yeah.
They're not even the paddle shifters. They're full on just normal autos.
Yeah, I hate that.
Drives me crazy. How are you a dealership? You don't know what the difference is between auto
I think
and
they
manual.
do. I think they trying to get people to look at the car. That's what I think.
Bastards.
I know.
Okay.
It happens too often to be a coincidence.
I know.
Or a
It
mistake.
drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah. Solid pick, though.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My second pick, I've always wanted to own a pickup truck.
Really?
Yes.
Ah.
It's never lined up for me. I wanted a cheap truck, cheap in quotes, to fill out my list because I always find myself needing a truck, but I have to make do with my van that I have. And so it works, but if it's just me and I'm choosing the vehicle, I'm gonna get a pickup truck. So I found a 2015 GMC Sierra 2500 for $19,995.
Wow.
White.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the Denali. It's still leather interior. It's still very nice.
That's a respectable trim level. The Denali is a little. I mean, like the High Country. It's a little much.
I have another list on here. Or one of my other lists has a 2500 Denali in it, and
you get the stupid grill, and
Yes.
it looks like a fancy watch.
it looks kind of cool.
It looks jewelry-ish. I don't know.
But
Denali's embroidered in the headrest. You don't
yeah.
need that. Yeah.
so I got, and that one had that one, it was high mileage. It was like 130,000 plus miles. But,
oh my God.
But for me, it's not going to be a daily. It's not going to be a farm truck. It's literally going to sit in my garage, in my driveway. And when I need a truck, I have one.
It's going to sit in your driveway and leak 140,000 miles.
No, no, it's not going to leak.
I don't know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
It's a 2015. I've got at least 2.5 more years before it starts leaking.
Somebody put some hard miles on that thing.
No, that was a very normal price for that year and that level. Like the 2500s in that trim level. Not a ton, but kind of in and around that ballpark. M5 for under 40 and then this for under 20. So that's only 60.
You got a lot of room.
I got a lot of room to gallop, my friend.
Yeah. Wow.
So I played around with that a lot because I knew if I was truly focusing on these were going to be my only cars, I knew the M5 was the great, daily family hauler, super awesome car to drive. And then the truck was going to be like sort of my version of the van.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So I, as well as you did, I went to 911.
Did you?
I went 911, but I spent a little more.
Did you?
I did.
Wow.
So I found.
Did you get like a GT3 RS?
I found a 2010 911 GT3 for $99,900.
Wow.
And it was not crazy mileage, black. This car, oh my gosh, Peter.
Oh, I know. I mean, I looked at a dozen of them myself, and you know what kicked me out? What took me down to like the basic 911 turbo?
What was that?
It seemed like it would be more fun to drive because I was looking at GT3s and GT4s, and they're stripped down, racing seats, roll cage, right?
This one wasn't an RS, so it still had the normal interior, still the back seats, no roll cage.
All right.
A lot of the GT cars, they get really intricate with the front bumpers and the side fins and all that kind of craziness. This one doesn't. This one was really nice and clean.
Okay.
It has the spoiler on the back. Here's a picture of it.
Oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
So it's got the nice front grille, but it doesn't have any of the craziness that goes along the sides. And because it's a 2010, it still has the headlight style that I like. Black. It's got the wing on the back, which I like. Not the crazy wing, but kind of the nice. Boy, was I sad when I realized I couldn't buy this car.
I
know. That one hurt me. And I with you, I went all around the Porsche world. Like I was looking at normal 911s. I was looking at turbos. I was looking at. There was one I almost went in on, but it was a Cayman. It wasn't a 911, but. Oh my God, was it just beautiful? 2016 Cayman GT4.
Ooh.
So I don't know if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
$106,000.
Yeah.
But it was in the blue that I love.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I was actually gonna do this, I would test drive the Cayman GT4 against the older 911 GT3, because this is a 2016 in the Cayman.
Okay.
So the technology and the driving experience might actually be pretty similar. Who knows? I have no idea. I've never driven a Porsche.
I've never even seen two at the same time.
Yeah. The Cayman is a little crazier because it's in what they're calling voodoo blue, which I think is an even better blue than Miami blue. It's more blue. It's like a sky blue. It's very similar to...
It's a lot of blue in the same sentence.
Well, I love blue. It's one of my favorite colors for cars. It's very similar to Rapid Blue from Chevy. So that's on the new Corvette.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, in this list, I did not choose the GT4, but I probably looked through 40 different Porsches.
You know what kicked me out of the GT3s and the GT4s was the price tag, because I couldn't do the other two. I mean, there was a GT4 RS I saw for like $160.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
There were a few that I saw, and then I realized, oh, these are still being bid on. Yeah. I was like, oh, this one's only 80. Like, what the hell? Oh, it's
3 days left.
It's an auction site. Yeah.
So what did you leave on the table then? If I'm adding it up, you got 60. You left quite a bit there. Do you have a fourth car?
I have a fourth car.
Ah,
I have a fourth car. So
sneaky.
So I, like you, was thinking, okay, the M5's pretty new-ish, but BMW, you never know what you're going to get as far as reliability goes. I don't have a new car on my list, so I needed a new car on my list. So I went and I spec'd a 2020 convertible C8 Corvette.
No.
Yeah. It came out to 86,106.
Oh, wow.
Which, if you look at is, I just spent almost $100K on a car that's twice its age in the 911 GT3.
Yeah.
But I was thinking that both of that and the M5, like, if they crap out on me, I don't have the money to fix those things up right away. Eventually, but I got to move some cash around.
Yeah.
I got to liquefy some assets here if I want to. So I needed a new car, and I thought 2020.
You may not be able to give any of the kids a ride anywhere, but it doesn't matter.
Well, I got the truck. It's just sitting in the driveway, leaking oil over my driveway. But yeah, convertible, red, black and red interior, red seat belts.
Now, when you say convertible, there isn't a true convertible.
There is. You can. I don't know that they're not out yet, but you can order. You can spec them out. There's a price online, and it's a hardtop convertible. It's not one of the soft top. It changes the lines of the car slightly in the rear. The reason that I think I would go convertible with the new C8 is it's very similar to other cars that I love that are the supercars. Mm-hmm. And if I had the capital to invest in a Huracan or an R8 or, a Ferrari, it would have to be a convertible. Like, I wouldn't
really.
I like the lines of them as coupes, but if it's insanity. Like, you're so close to just all out insanity,
just
like
being totally
top
crazy.
down.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never forget seeing the convertible Lamborghini. That was probably, I don't know, 10 years ago, something like that. I mentioned it on one of the other episodes.
Yeah.
And it was just perfect. It was perfection on wheels, I really like the way that the new Corvette looks as a convertible. It is a shame because it does ruin the back lines a little bit.
It doesn't.
But the way they do it is pretty cool, and you get the two kind of humps, over each driver. I don't know. I think it's pretty sweet, and it's a hard top, and you don't have to worry about getting rained on.
What color?
Red.
With
black and red interior.
Yeah.
Red seat belts, and I spec'd it just the way I would. It's got the Z51 package. It's got the magnetic ride dampening, and nose lift, and everything. Because I felt like if everything else fails on me, this has got the warranty. At least I'll have that.
Yeah.
At least I'll have the warranty.
I hear you, man. I hear you. I went down the same road. That's a good list. So you still left a little money on the table.
There was like $5,000 I think left.
Yeah.
My grand total.
You actually lost because you didn't factor in taxes. So
I did not factor in taxes, but my grand total with that list was $245,503.
Yeah.
So it was only like $5,000 left. Not enough for the taxes.
But
enough to buy new wheels for my C8 because that's how I kept it in under budget. Is I didn't spec any. I don't like any of the wheels that come on it really.
Yeah.
So I just left those normal, and I would want to swap those out. But My second list, 2017
Okay.
Lamborghini Huracan LP 610
God.
for $234,997.
So your second list is one car.
It's two cars.
And
A 2004 Honda Civic Si for like 12.
I can't be mad at that. That works. So yeah, I mean, I'd be interested to see, whose list wins. Like, no alteration, no change. Email us.
Look at that Lambo.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Don't bump it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not to want to.
It's hard not to want to drive one of those, right?
It's not that hard not to want to buy one. But
Yes.
if you could drive it.
Yeah, because I was thinking like it was really hard not to go that route, but I just kept thinking like if it was a real car, yeah, sure, I didn't technically pay any money for it, but I would have a hard time driving it around and not worrying about it being scratched or dinged or crashing it or whatever. But it's such a pretty car.
So you going with list one or list two?
List one.
I'm
going with list one.
So Rob's
list
list one.
It's more realistic.
BMW M5.
Yes.
GMC Sierra 2500, which is a couple years old. The C8 Corvette, the 911.
2010.
The GT3.
911 GT3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got 4 cars against my 3. Against a 2020 Silverado 2500 high country package, the Genesis G80 5.0 Ultimate, and the 2007 911 Turbo, and a car trailer.
And a trailer. See, I did leave that out.
Enclosed trailer.
I would have to drive my cars to the track.
I could have 3 of my 4 picks all together at the same time. And, to be fair, it's a 24-foot trailer, so maybe I could get both in the back. I could have my entire wish list with me.
You could have an armada traveling around with you.
So let us know in the comments. Send us an email. Give us your list.
Yeah,
I'd like to know your list.
I would 100% love to hear your guys' list.
Yeah.
What would you do? Taxes or not, what would you do?
Yeah, you don't have to be weird like
be
me.
Super financial weirdo like Pete. But yeah, what would your list be? $250,000 of liquid money you had to spend on cars. No, I'm going to leave $100K for my student loans.
Right. Yeah.
Even though that's probably what we would all do anyway.
100%. 100%.
We would all.
I'd get the truck and then everything else would go in the bank.
And it would go pay off the mortgage and the student loans.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
okay.
But anyway,
None of
that's not fun to talk about.
No, there's no podcast that says fantasy about paying off your student loans.
Oh, do we?
We didn't talk about the Bronco.
We didn't talk about the Bronco.
The Bronco reveal. Did we figure out if it was really that bad? Like, did they screw up the technology? I could not find any articles.
I could not find any articles at all about whether or not it was an isolated incident with us and the stream we were watching. I don't know.
Okay.
So for all of you guys out in
that don't know,
Pete, I, and our buddy Adam, who was on a few episodes ago, got together on Pete's birthday, and we decided to watch the Bronco reveal, celebrate Pete getting older and the Bronco getting
wiser,
newer.
Yeah, and the Bronco coming back.
So we had the stream on, and
the comments were crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody was like, no sound, can't see it, nothing's happening. And then they started to get ruthless with it, like, should have bought a Jeep.
Yeah, there was just it all cut out.
Yeah.
When it came time for the actual reveal. It was all fine up to a certain point. When it came time for the reveal, it just totally crapped out.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
And not on our end. Like, the stream didn't fail. The stream was still going. The comments were still going.
Yeah.
But there are no articles about that is
That's
what happened.
Crazy.
So I don't know if Ford is just hush-hushing it. In all honesty, though, who it benefited was all of the other videos that came out afterwards for all the journalists, all the motor journalists.
Yeah. Who've been sitting on their Bronco reviews for weeks.
Yes.
Because they're under contract.
They're under NDA, not to release it until a specific time. And so all of those people...
Well, because we were already sitting there, we were already geared up and like super excited. We've manufactured this like enthusiasm around like this reveal, and so we're like, well, shit. I mean, and so we started playing the Edmunds guys, the car and driver guys. I mean, like everybody, all the way down to guys like you and me who were just talking about what they saw in spy shots.
Yep.
Like, we couldn't watch enough of it. We like found the end of the internet trying to get Bronco information, but. So with all of the information we did find subsequent to that failed stream, what did you think? I mean, I know that's the bourbon. I know that we talked about it at length, but seeing some of those reviews, are you a 2-door Bronco guy or are you a 4-door Bronco guy?
I went back and forth, and I think I am a 2-door Bronco guy.
Oh.
Yeah. I when I initially saw it, I was 4-door all the way. Still would love the 4-door. I think the 4-door. Having said all that, I like the Bronco.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I like the way the design is. I think Ford is on the right path with the Bronco as far as this first round goes, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I think the 4-door looks great. I think if I was actually going to buy one, it would probably have to be the 4-door one just because of practicality. If it's me by myself and I get to pick which one I go home with, I'm probably taking the 2-door.
2-door. So I can't argue that. I think it's close, but for me, it's 4-door. Practicality aside, I like the lines.
I do too.
I like the idea of being in that adventurous state of mind with people that I want to be with.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to caveat my response. I like the 2-door with no roof, no doors, like stripped down.
Okay.
If I have to have a roof and all that stuff on it, I like the 4-door better.
I think you're right about that. I can agree with that.
Yeah. But I don't. We don't live in a place where I could have that all the time, so it wouldn't make sense to get it that way.
I priced one out.
Yeah.
And tried to reserve one.
Oh, you did?
Well, by the time I priced it out and went to hit the button, it was already full. Like they weren't taking any more reservations, so they had sold out of the reservations. But the one I priced out was highest packages and trims combined, right?
The Sasquatch?
Yeah, the Sasquatch, right? Yep. $63,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, real life. Maybe I can swing that, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. No, I mean, I'm not saying I could, but I have a truck.
Yeah, you'd have to sell.
If it's paid off,
Yeah.
and I get, a certain amount for that, it brings me in striking distance. That's a massive car payment, right?
Yes.
Is that what you buy for $63,000?
That's my problem with the whole thing.
The whole car industry at this point. Like, I can't. Why can't anybody make a $22,000 awesome, fun, excitable, car? It just doesn't exist. So it's like with my
not brand new.
Yeah. With my $62,000, I'm like, it's a lot of money for a novelty piece, right?
Yeah.
I think with the onslaught of financing alternatives, i.e., leasing, and the magic of residual pricing, right, and how you can make up a value, perceived value, future value for a car, and put it in such a formula that gets you and I to make a payment closer to $500. That's where you get the inflation of these massive numbers on these basically regular cars, right? $62,000. I'm not buying that car and having a $1,200 car payment. I might lease that car and write a check for $525 a month, and I think that's probably what's happened here.
Yeah, but would you lease a Bronco, something that's designed to be beat up on?
I absolutely think you do, because I think the majority of people out there that want the car don't have the capacity to buy their Bronco outright and do what they want to do with it. I think they want to get back and forth to work. They need a car. They have a set budget. So if a payment can be arranged that fits that, they get to drive a car that they want, give it back after 3 years, and start the process over again, right? And they were able to afford it, in air quotes, for that period of time. I'm not a big proponent of leasing, and I don't know that I ever would. I haven't yet.
Me neither.
Say that.
I've never leased. I don't like the idea of having something that I don't own or am in the process of owning. So I don't like renting houses. I don't like renting apart. I like putting the equity into a house.
Yeah.
I like building something.
Yeah. Even though that the car is a depreciating asset.
And that's the big thing about it, though.
Yeah.
If you were to go to a stockbroker and say, hey, I want to drop $50K on these stocks. If he went and said, okay, they're going to depreciate 20% tomorrow.
Yeah.
Would you do it? No, you wouldn't do it.
No.
So
I that was a long way around. Like, I'm sad because I like it,
It is really nice.
and
They did a really good job.
I want to try to make it work in my life, but
Yeah.
not for 62. I just can't do it.
Yeah. Well,
You could buy a Suburban for 65, right?
Yeah.
$70,000, and you get 3 rows of seating. I mean, you get everything.
you get everything.
You get everything.
You get all the off-road. Well, not all the
Yeah,
off-roading,
but
the longer wheelbase, but you get the towing capacity. You get
right.
the
Well, that
luxury.
was the other thing. You remember the towing capacity?
Yeah,
on
it was
3,500.
3,500.
Oh my God!
What are you towing?
You can't even take a jet ski behind you.
Yeah. It was weird though because they were comparing it to the Jeep, and the Jeep is also 3,500.
All of these things
Seems weird to me.
The biggest one was the 4Runner, and that was maybe 42
Yeah. So it's common in that
in that class.
breed
Yeah.
of vehicle, which is a shock to me.
I know.
Total shock, because you always see in Jeep advertising, always see them pulling a boat.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
always pulling like a little speedboat or something behind, and
Maybe
it's made out of fiberglass.
yeah, maybe we don't know what boats weigh,
Yeah,
I guess. Maybe
yeah.
maybe I need to go check on that. But yeah, I mean, you want to pull a trailer with a couple 4-wheelers? Nope.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money for a very niche lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Then again, I did really like it.
I did too.
I wish we would have been able to see the full reveal.
I know. When we did end up, after watching a few of the Edmunds and other car reviewers, which are probably the most excited people on the planet,
Right.
because now they're getting literally hundreds of thousands of views on these videos like the night it happens, because at least for us,
Yeah.
we couldn't watch the actual thing.
Yeah.
And it was only after watching a few of those that the 20-minute piece by Ford was put up on their YouTube channel. The stream was taken down. You can no longer see the stream.
Oh, really?
You couldn't see it that night. We
Couldn't
tried
even
to find it.
rewatch
the live stream. I mean, there were parts where the mouse pointer was on the screen,
Yes.
and it was like just black.
Somebody lost their job.
Yeah,
I'm
it was
sure.
It was not good. So it was not something that we did. The Bronco looks good. The ease at which the doors come off is really, really cool. The design is really great. The customization from the factory was really cool. They had all kinds of different doors and gadgets and all kinds of crap that you can bolt on and take off, and like a lot of the interior bits can be removed, and which means there's going to be all kinds of customization that you can get from third-party vendors, and
I'm excited to see what the aftermarket stuff.
oh man,
look.
the aftermarket stuff is going to be so cool for that car.
Yeah.
It's going to be so cool
Yep.
because of how customizable they made it, which I think is a really, really great idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of what Ford and Chevy and Dodge, what those guys get hit on is they make a great thing, but then the inside is not, the touch points aren't always great, and whatever.
Right.
So if you can invent a car where you can take all the touch points out and put new ones in and easily,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Right.
A lot of the stuff from the Bronco just bolts out and you bolt something else in.
Yeah, yeah. No, and I think that goes really far in saying, they thought out their end user and their buyer, and the enthusiasm around the Bronco and the lifestyle, it doesn't stop there. They're buying, grill guards and wenches and bigger tires, whatever the case is, different wheels. And all that stuff. And to your point, the touch points on the interior can be changed out. I think that just ingrains that person with the brand that buys that car even more.
Yeah.
It's a really smart move.
Did you see that they doubled the output units that they're going to come out with?
No.
Yeah. So the initial was like, I think only 3,500 or something units. I saw an article the other day.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So they're really.
Be easier to get one 3 years from now off lease.
That's right. Exactly. That's what I was thinking. You mentioned that. That's the thing with the audio industry, and it sucks because as enthusiasts, generally speaking, at least most of the enthusiasts I've ever met are not buying their cars new. They're buying them secondhand. And so it's a shame because then the auto manufacturers are not taking our numbers into account.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're buying cars 5 years after they came out, 3 years after they came out.
They don't capture secondary sales.
And they don't. We're looking for a great deal on something that's depreciated, that has been taken care of pretty well, and now we get to have our fun with.
Yeah.
We're
always 5 years behind.
Yeah, we're always 5 years
At
behind.
least.
At least the enthusiasts that I know.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Our circle.
Yeah. But maybe 5 years from now, you and the Bronco will be hanging out.
Yeah.
You know?
Me and the gently used Bronco.
My only concern with the Bronco
Okay.
and we sort of touched on this a little bit last week, is the array of versions that are going to be coming out.
Yep.
And we've already seen that with the 3 that they came out. They've got the 2-door, they've got the 4-door, and then they've got the Sport, which looks gross.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they called it a Sport. It doesn't look sporty.
No.
And it was exactly like the silhouette that we saw. It did not look good. It didn't even, it looked like the weird, awkward cousin that, you know what I mean?
It did.
You've got the star quarterback and the star running back and their weird cousin that somehow made the team.
It was not good.
It does concern me a little bit that they are going to be bringing out even more. The market is small, is pretty niche for this, and Jeep already owns it.
Yeah.
So you're trying to take a market away from somebody who owns it. Are you giving people option paralysis a little bit by giving them too many choices?
Yep.
You know?
I think you are. I think they should have the choices. I mean, the Toyota FJ Cruiser came out and then got discontinued, right? But you could only get that thing one way.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it. And I think that in and of itself was a problem too. But Ford's seemingly going the other way, like where you can have a Mustang with an EcoBoost 4-cylinder, all the way up to, I mean, we've talked about it.
Yeah.
And it's just too much. It's too much. It diminishes the brand and the quality, perceived quality, I should say, not actual quality, but perceived quality of the vehicle. I keep it tight, man.
Yeah, I
keep it tight.
100% agree. I feel like you do the 2-door, you do the 4-door, and then you do like the Raptor version of either one or both of those. Probably the 4-door. I have to imagine that the Raptor is going to be 4-door.
Be like a death trap.
What if it was the 4-door size but only had 2 doors on it?
I would be down for that.
Like it still has the seats in the back, but you only have the 2 doors.
I'd have to see how it looks, but I'd be down for that.
You know what I mean?
I like the old school Tahoes. You remember those?
Yeah.
And the Blazers, right?
Yeah.
Just 2 doors.
2 doors, and you got to climb in the back.
Yeah.
Thinking about it, where the roofs and the door and the side panels, all that stuff comes off.
Yeah.
You wouldn't need doors.
You could have aftermarket foot pegs.
Yeah, you just climb.
Throw a leg over, man, just like you would a horse.
Yeah,
throw a leg over that Bronco.
I think that'd be really, really great.
Somebody owes us some money for that.
That about does it for another episode of the Joyride podcast.
Boy, that went quick.
Hit us up with your list of cars for 250K.
Yep.
Contact the show in a couple of different ways. Number one, you can write us an email, contactjoyridepod@gmail.com. You can also hit up our website, joyridepod.com, and just head over to the contact page and fill out the form and let us know what your list is. And also let us know what you think of the Bronco. Go ahead and follow us on Instagram. That's kind of our social media platform of choice, Joyride Pod. Like and subscribe and tell other people about the show.
Yeah, let's do 1,000 downloads. That'd be sweet. I don't know what that means, but it sounds good. And please, if you know what like real stats should look like, and we're nowhere near them, don't let us know. Don't hurt our feelings.
Let us live in ignorance for the time being.
Special thanks to our sponsor, High Bank Distillery. High Bank Distillery is a wonderful local restaurant, eatery, and micro distillery here in Columbus, Ohio.
Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy the ride.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Yeah, I'll bet you.
We got to figure this out before we post that.
The winner gets to buy their list.
There's a lot.
Because you could do, if thinking about it, excuse me.
Pick it up. Thinking about it.
Platform of choice, Joyride Pod.
Yeah. New post coming out. This is so bad at this. Oh, my God.